Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Marcus. In today's video, I want to take you behind the scenes on my first ever magazine cover shoot. Now, this is a real magazine, Lux Lifestyle. It's a pretty popular magazine on the East Coast, up and down. You can find it in pretty much any grocery store you go to. And I'm actually using the Sony A7riii with the 24mm 1.4 and wide is really necessary for this type of shot. So I'll talk you through this whole shoot after the intro. Please go to ProPhotoEdits.com where you can download my Lightroom presets and Photoshop actions. And I just want to remind you guys that my online creative lighting and editing course is up right now. I get asked about this every single day on Instagram. If you're not following me, the link will be down below. But how do you get these in-camera effects? I don't do any of this in Photoshop. This is all done in camera. So I put 12 courses in here, 12 different photo shoots, and I explain what tools I use to get these looks in camera. And I usually just use one light. Sometimes I use one light and one LED, but I don't have a dynamic lighting setup. Everything you're looking at here right now is explained in the course. We're over, I think, 300 or 400 people in the course right now, so it's really growing and people are really happy with this. And we've just added some extra things that you're looking at right now with the light throwing technique. You're going to see that today in this video that we're going to use this in an abandoned location. Nothing extra going on here. This is all done in camera, so you get the raw files, the Lightroom presets, the Photoshop actions, screen recording. I have me editing these looks that you're looking at now, and I've also included a new creative gelling course to get you these looks like this in camera, so consider that. So let's get into the behind the scenes on this clock tower shoot with the parachute dress, and then I'll break it down and give you some pointers on how I got the shots, and then show you how I edited a few of them in Lightroom with my preset pack. See you in a sec.
We made it. That's where we're going. Straight up to the top of the tower. We're going up to the top. Oh, okay.
High voltage, no touchy.
You will die. One hand down, one arm down. Okay, I'm gonna do natural this one. Alright, go ahead. You wanna try some with 24? Swap it out. Me and Kai, Raven, to go in Baltimore, Clock Tower. Done with our shoot. Nobody died. Everybody's still alive, so it was a success.
So quick gear run through. What I'm using here is a Sony A7riii, and I'm using the Sigma Art 24mm 1.4, and also my Z7 and the 20mm 1.8. That's my buddy Kai's, he let me use. I also shot a little bit with my 35 1.4 art, but I didn't really, it was too tight in there for those. So mostly everything that I'm showing you here is a 24 art or the 20 1.8, and I'll differentiate when I show you the images. So lighting wise, what I'm using here is the Flashpoint Explore 600. It's the 600 watt high speed sync capable strobe. And then I have the extension head going up to the Celine's parabolic softbox, which is a 48-inch with a grid, so I can really dial in the light. And as you can see from this picture right here, the light was very, I mean, the clock tower is pretty small up top, but there's a lot of light coming in through those windows, and you can't really shoot directly at your subject without just blowing out the background. If you want to expose for their face, it just turns into a mess. You know, all you'll see in the back is just white. And I wanted to really dial in some of those colors. We got this great parachute dress from Alice Andrews Designs, and you know, we wanted to use the blues, and the blues coming through, you know, from the natural sky outside, so we high speed synced it. And then I'll show you some of the natural light shots I took, and why I posed the model the way I did to get the best results from the natural light shots. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the breakdown on this as best I can. This is a shot that Kai took of me from, you know, behind the scenes up on the ladder, and I was on the ground with the 20mm 1.8 shooting upwards, trying to elongate, you know, the window to show how big it is, with Raven in the window and the assistants holding the dress on each side and flapping it. And I got this shot looking upwards, and then I had her stand up with the 20mm, and got even a taller perspective on this shot right here. So keep in mind, this entire shoot, this light setup that you're looking at right here, it never changes. Every shot is lit exactly like this. Only thing we did was raise and lower it. Always has the grid, it's always camera right. We just wanted to make sure we were lighting her face in these pictures, so we had to raise it depending on where she was in the window.
Down a little bit. One hand down, one arm down.
So there's the background on that shot. 24mm art, 1.4 wide open, and both people flapping the dress on each side, and I'm shooting up the light on the right. So the 24 art was great on this shoot. I really loved it. I don't shoot wide a lot, but it's given me a reason to and stuff like this for publications. Let me give you one more shot here, natural light versus the strobing we've been doing this whole time. So in a situation like this, when there's so much light coming in and you don't just want a silhouette, you know, why do you travel all the way over here to get a silhouette? I know it looks like the room doesn't have a lot of color in it, but you can pull tones out of anywhere. I mean, the room is old and it's rustic and there's not a ton of color, but trust me, it's there. The sky is behind that big kind of stained glass window, and the walls and the beams holding the clock in place, they're greenish, so there's a lot of tones to be pulled out of there. Okay, so magazines always want you to shoot in portrait orientation so they can put it on covers and do spreads and stuff like that, but the clock tower has multiple, you know, clocks up there. So the reason I'm doing all these voiceovers, one is because it's incredibly noisy up there, as you can hear through the audio clips, and it's just too harsh. The clocks are just tick, tick, tick. It's loud. It's really loud up there. So I wanted to get a wide shot with the 24 and encompass both clocks, or at least, you know, 2 of the 4 sides, you know, in one shot. And I wanted to use natural light. But the only way you can do that in this scenario and still get all those colors that I was talking about is you have to have the light on the model's face. So we had to pose her in a way to where she's looking out the window like you see her just now. Because if the light was behind her head, you'd still have to expose for her face, and she'd be backlit and it'd be a nightmare. You'd lose all the colors. So all we did was have her mother flip the dress and then run out of the frame as best she could, and then I photoshopped her out, have the model look out the window, and I'm snapping off the A7riii at max frames per second with the 24mm 1.4 art. And here's the shot we got after I photoshopped her mom out of the frame. You just had to do it. There was nowhere for her to hide. So anyway, guys, I had fun doing this shoot. It was pretty epic inside the location. The 24 did not let me down. The Sony A7riii did not let me down. Sony is not my first choice, and I don't shoot it very much because the color science to me is just not, I think it's like 3rd, maybe 4th. I think it's, you know, Nikon, Canon, Fuji, not necessarily in that order, and then Sony. Even though Sony makes the sensors for most of those, sometimes it's just hard for me to manipulate those colors the way I want to. But I got it done and it worked out just fine. The 24 is a Sony mount, and that's the only wide lens that I have for this, so I had to use that camera. But anyway, until next week, it's Marcus. I love you guys.